we're back with the common ground, and we're going to talk about that whole Cuba Gooding Jr. Situation where he's accused of sexual assault or groping, what have you. And what we have here is saying that 14 women, ranging from Dallas to Los Angeles to New York City.
Oh, hold on, wait. Before we get into the show, you're not going to introduce us?
Oh, okay. Well, all right, let's start over.
You ain't going to start over. Just.
All right, this is my man, Big Red, LaJuan Johnson, and I'm MacGill417. Sorry about that. I was just excited about talking about this bit of information involving one of my favorite actors. I don't know about you, but he's one of my favorite actors.
He's pretty good.
And I hate to hear or see some of our greatest stars or entertainers fall to things that they've done, or either fall victim to things that happen to them. And in this case, we don't know, because only God was there. Well, with some of these situations, only God was there with them. Mm-hmm. But we'll get into that. It's 14 women from Dallas to Los Angeles to New York, starting as far back as 20 years ago, that these people are coming back, like the whole Bill Cosby thing. Mm-hmm. Are accusing Cuba Gooding Jr. of unwanted sexual advances, forcible touching, groping. He's facing misdemeanor charges for groping 2 women in Manhattan, one in October 24th, 2018, and another June 9th, 2019 of this year at Magic Hour Rooftop Bar. And prosecutors are seeking to use testimony from 12 other women to illustrate a pattern of behavior in relation to intimate contact. His attorney, Mark Heller, the one that they're related, says there is no proof of any conduct on Cuba's behalf. He has pled not guilty to both allegations. He turned himself in June of this year and later released after his own recognizance. The unidentified woman said that Cuba was highly intoxicated and that they got into a verbal altercation after he touched, and she resisted. Investigators found security camera footage of what they claim substantiates the woman's accusations. His lawyer said that he viewed the footage and that there was not a drop of criminal conduct on Cuba's part, and the video covered the entire evening. I wanted to point out what his lawyer said. Now, what his lawyer said that the cases or accusations are distorted overreaction, pandering to the current hypersensitive climate where innocent gestures are now misperceived and mischaracterized as offensive. In other words, character assassination. That's how I took it. And then he also said that the second accuser tried to get a settlement payment from Cuba after his first arrest, but he bravely chose not to be shaken down. In other words, he didn't pay up. He was like, screw that. If I didn't do it, I'm not going to pay. I'm going to prove my innocence. And court document spells out that his accuser is predispositioned to make false allegations against him. That's what his lawyer was saying. So, what's your feelings, my man?
So, first of all, I'm going to say to all the men out there,
be careful.
Keep your hands to yourself. If you want to talk to a girl, you don't have to touch her to get her attention. You can walk up to her, stand in front of her, say, excuse me, that works. But keep your hands to yourself, just so you don't have to deal with this drama and these headaches, and these silly accusations. I mean, how many times have people, or men in general, walked up to a woman and maybe grabbed her by the hand or tapped her on the shoulder and got a "don't touch me," and you apologize. You say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you or offend you or anything like that. I was just trying to get your attention."
And she has that right to say that if she feels that way.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I mean, isn't every advance towards a woman that's not interested in you unwanted?
Including a "hey baby" as it was supposed to.
So I think we need to kind of narrow down what an unwanted advance is. If I see a good looking woman and if I wasn't married and I wanted to holler at her and she wasn't interested in me, she has that right, and I'll keep it moving. There's plenty of other women out there, and so, but to her, that might have been an unwanted advance, even though I probably didn't say anything out of line or disrespectful or touch her. It was an unwanted advance. So these lawyers are mucking things up. They need to narrow down exactly what type of unwanted advance. Was it an unwanted sexual advance where he actually,
that's what they're saying,
came at her and was like, "Oh baby, I'd love to get in those jeans," or something like that?
Well, they're saying that he's got 20. They're saying that he's got a 20-year history of groping or touching in some type of sexual manner that is unwanted. Well,
there's worse. In one of the articles I read, some woman is accusing him of telling her that she wanted to sit on her face and pee in his mouth. So I mean,
he said that. Is that
that's
what she's saying?
That's what one of the accusers is saying.
That he said.
Yes, that he said to her. So I'm just, who knows if it's just you and her. Why is her word taken at more value than his? I mean, unless there's witnesses who were there, I think the case should be thrown out.
Okay, what about that?
We've all got a history of making unwanted advances at a woman.
Okay, as men.
As men. I don't know every man
unless you've never got shot down.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know any man that's never gotten shot down. So if you're out there, let me know. And well, it's too late for me now, but I just want to know your secrets. Maybe I can pass them on to my son or something like that. So if you've never gotten shot down and the women look good, because some men may have never gotten shot down, but the women were like, "Ugh, why?" I can see why. She was just as desperate as you. So if the women were good looking, then help a brother out. I'll tell my son. I'll help my son. So, but yeah, every man has gotten shot down, and I'm sure the woman that rejected him saw that as an unwanted advance. So the courts I think the courts are just wasting taxpayer dollars and their own time when they have more obvious and clear-cut cases they could be taking their time and prosecuting. This will probably go on for a year or 2 years, cost Cuba a whole bunch of money paying for this lawyer, and be found not guilty, and then...
Well, they're going to make it tough for him because of these other 12 women that came out the cracks and the crevices. You know that, right?
Yeah, and then she will, pursue a civil suit to try to get some money out of this. So it's like, if there's no witnesses, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. That's how I feel it should be.
The plan is to build upon. They're gonna build on. They're gonna try to build on that. They're gonna say, okay, well, I mean, I was speaking to my wife about it, and I was like, with this whole situation, he's opened himself up, to anything, because before. Is being a clean-cut actor, not getting caught up in any situations, which I'm sure it can't be completely easy, because everybody wants something from you when you're rich and you're successful.
Well,
and I told her, I was like, well, now, he's got windows and doors open for people to come in with BS. Next thing you know, they might be saying, oh, well, he's got these 14 women that's saying that he has pushed up on them sexually, unwanted, and now somebody come out the woodwork. Oh, he raped me. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
and they don't have to have any merit. Look at Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah, Bill Cosby had plenty of merit. Bill Cosby did not.
Where's the proof? What was proof at with Bill Cosby?
Actually,
outside of him actually saying that he's giving women drugs.
Okay, what more proof?
Wait a minute now. Hold on. Wait a minute. Now, what if? All right. Let's say it wasn't pills. It was marijuana, and you in a group of people and you smoking marijuana, and a couple of them happen to be girls, and y'all doing a puff pass. All of a sudden, now you're guilty because you gave her drugs.
No. I think when you're in a case where the remainder of your life is on the line,
you had nothing to do with it.
You specify what drugs you gave a woman when you admit that you gave a woman drugs.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
It does not matter.
Yes,
you gave her drugs.
No,
that's what they
not.
And that's what they're going to.
No. There are different types of drugs.
That's what they're going to get on. They're going to hammer you on. You gave her drugs. Period.
No,
and any type of drug, they're going to look at it as okay. It impaired her judgment. Any drug.
No, and marijuana does not really impair your judgment.
Depends on how much you smoke.
No, there are plenty of people that take marijuana oil, and they're
these days,
and for pain and other things, and it doesn't impair their judgment at all. But these women were drinking alcohol, and he was putting pills in it, so he knew what he was doing. And there were even rumors around Hollywood before he was prosecuted that he did that, and he might have even talked about it in a stand-up.
And you want to know?
And then there was an episode of the Cosby Show where something was put in the barbecue sauce.
What does that got to do with anything?
That shows him kind of gloating.
I don't see that. But
and everybody was kind of high and woozy, and then all of a sudden this comes out.
But it's all hearsay. That's what they call it in court, hearsay. And you know what they do when somebody bring up something that is word on the street in court? They call it hearsay, and they stricken it. They throw it right out immediately.
There must have been enough evidence not to throw Bill Cosby's case out, and there's obviously enough evidence not to throw Cuba's out. I don't know if he's innocent or guilty.
Did you see the video?
A little bit, but I'm just saying, if he actually did this, then he deserves to be prosecuted. I don't know what the statute of limitations are on. I guess they would call it gross sexual imposition, maybe.
That's fair.
And with the one woman rape. So I don't know
what one woman.
Didn't you say one woman accused him of actually raping him?
No, I'm saying that could.
If
they build up enough BS, and then somebody come and put that drop of water on it. So who's going to say that some court or somebody is not going to buy it and be like, even though it could be completely 100% false, but you know what they say, you got enough people to back it up. Even the truth, even the lie can become the truth.
Absolutely. But if there's no collusion between the women, and their stories are probably similar, then
still doesn't make it true.
There's a good chance that it is, though, because
possibly.
So I would say that tips the odds in the favor of the women, not the men, not Cuba.
It goes all the way back to that whole MGTOW thing for me, man. Dudes, y'all gotta go your own way.
We still,
we got caught. We married.
We still need women. I love my fellow man, but I don't want to be. There's nothing you can do for me that a woman can. Okay?
No. What I'm saying is that the social climate is very hard for men these days.
I think that's our fault.
I'm
not a blamer. Okay,
how's it our fault?
I'm all about personal responsibility. Well, if men stood up just like the feminists and
So let's just say I was a single dude, right?
mm-hmm,
And I was out here dating and and I was having to deal with women today.
mm-hmm.
You telling me that if I had got caught in whatever situation there is with a woman, that because men haven't stood up and take the type of stances that feminist women have taken up,
Mm-hmm.
that it's my fault. I should lay down and die because of the whole situation or whatever to that situation that I had to deal with at the time.
I'm saying men in general as a whole don't unify and speak up
I agree
on these causes.
Well,
and I mean that's why this kind of stuff is so prevalent because of the Me Too movement.
I'm agreeing.
I mean, and yes, there is some validity to the Me Too movement, but now you got every single woman coming forward. Oh, he said this to me. He said that to me, and now my heart goes out to the women that were actually touched, or that the women, they said, if you don't have sex with me, you don't get this role. Well, I mean, they also have to bear some of that responsibility. Your integrity. Where's your integrity, lady?
If you
wanted that role and that money more than you wanted your integrity, well then I don't think the man should be prosecuted because you gave in. If he put the option out there, option A and option B, A was to have sex with him, get the money and get the role, or B, walk away, and you chose A, you were just as guilty
and now
as
20
him.
Now 20 years later, you want to come back and say, oh, he did this and he did that.
But now, even in court, we're letting that stand. That's why I couldn't be a judge. I'd be like, case dismissed, bam, get out. Next case.
Dude, it's not.
Because I'd be like, you gave up your integrity for a role. Your desire to be rich and famous was more important than your integrity at that time. So now you are going to have to live with the consequences of that for the rest of your life. Case dismissed. Next case.
I agree. But a lot of laws and things are, seeming to be spearheaded in favor of women.
Well, because
they've been working at it for a long time to get it to the way it is now.
Because men have not stood up in mass numbers like these women have and protested some of these rulings because they don't want to be called sexist. They don't want to be called, whatever other foul name there is out there if you are against someone else's movement, So, and they don't want the negative publicity, even though they're probably just an average person. They don't want the negative publicity. They don't want to be shunned, even though some of those, if we're talking about actors, some of them are already wealthy enough that they got enough money to live on for the rest of their life and a couple generations after them. So,
on the other side of the coin,
everybody wants to be part of the crowd.
Women are now, I guess, illustrating concern over men. Like I was saying before in the MGTOW video, that men are not catering to them. Men are very cautious as far as getting into relationships or even dealing with them on a social or romantic level.
Nothing wrong with that.
And see, the thing is that, like they say, for any action there's a reaction, and the reaction is that it's going to get worse because as people, just human beings, not just being a guy, you want to protect yourself from whatever it is that can harm you. And it's a shame that you have to look at a potential mate, or any woman for that matter, as someone that has potential to harm you.
Well, that's why communication is key in beginning a relationship. Don't be so quick to jump into bed with everybody. Get to know that person. That can save your life. I mean, getting to know somebody, knowing what kind of person they are, seeing if they're kind of scandalous or shady.
Yeah, because your gut gonna tell you.
Or they just may say something that lets you know right then and there, oh, let me leave her alone.
Mm.
So
yeah, because what's in you gonna come out eventually anyway.
But yeah, and so but some people are so quick to just,
she got a fat butt, she got nice
right,
chest. I'm gonna get in.
Right.
Before you know it, you're paying for years or even a lifetime of some
rape or 18 years of child support that you can't afford and all that.
Anything.
So it's just be careful.
Yeah, anything. The video, I watched the video. I watched it a few times too.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene is that he was at a bar and he had his girlfriend with him. Mm-hmm. His girlfriend's a white blonde lady from what I could see in the video. And they were sitting down in the bar and this girl was sitting really snugged up to him. And then there was this brunette lady that came and sat down beside him. I don't know what the conversation was, of course, mm-hmm. but he leaned over and he put his hand on her knee. Mm-hmm. And I guess she had grabbed his hand, mm-hmm. and his hand came up like this.
Okay.
And he took her hand from here and he kissed it.
Uh-huh.
And then I guess went back to conversation. Now what they're saying is that he grabbed her and then felt her boob.
Okay, there is something.
And clearly in the video, you can see from here, his palm goes up. You can see the white of his palm. Mm-hmm. And her grab it. And then he grabs it and he takes a kiss on her hand. Mm-hmm. And they continue talking. I don't know what the talk was about.
Well, that was the most recent case. I thought that case was thrown out and he was vindicated because the video saved him. I know the most recent case from a few months ago that the video helped him because they were able to go to the club, pull the closed circuit cameras, research the video, and there were no signs of any kind of inappropriate contact on his part. Now, if he said something inappropriate, maybe didn't get picked up, of course, but there were no visible signs of inappropriate contact. Should he have touched her knee? Probably not. But if she didn't want him touching her knee, she could have just brushed his hand off or said, "Could you please move your hand?"
Well, I've even heard of guys even asking, "Hey, do I have permission?" Because
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Because we're talking and I don't want to offend you if I touch you while we're talking because I want to get my point across in our conversation. I would say that's very respectful, but not typical.
Well, I think the art of being a gentleman has all but died.
Well, feminism killed it.
Yeah. Well,
feminism, that's just my take on it. Feminism killed it. We don't need you to open doors. We don't need you to do anything for us except give us money. That's what it seemed like it sounded like.
I joke with my wife all the time. When just the other day, we were at the gas station, and I handed her a $20 bill, and she was like, "I'll go pay, but you got a problem." I'm like, "Why?" And she was like, "That's your job." I was like, "Oh no, we're equal."
Did you do this? You said, MGTOW?
No. And she was like, I don't want to be equal. I want my man to lead me. I said, okay, that's fine. But, there are plenty of women that have fought for your right to be equal. You're doing them a disservice. She said, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about me. I said, okay, well, then I'll pump the gas. But if I was a man and I heard a woman tell me all the time, or heard a woman say, I don't need a man for anything. I can do everything for myself that a man can do. Then what I would do? What I want to be bothered with you for?
I was about to say, you know what I would do?
What?
I would dump her ass.
Oh, I'd be like, yeah, what I need to be bothered with you for? Exactly. I'll get me a woman that appreciates me. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure there are a lot of guys out there that speak or feel the same way. Between feminism, the whole child support situation, and other things, it has definitely put a lot of
well, I'm pro child support.
A lot of situations. It's put a lot of things. It's made it tough for relationships to prosper.
Well, I'm very pro child support, so I can't, if
you're misunderstanding me. I don't have a problem with child support whatsoever. I've personally paid into it, so and I done it, and I didn't have to have court ordered. I didn't have to have police come looking for me. I didn't have to have my driver's license taken away from me.
And that's what
I
I'm
haven't
saying.
had to have the banks, my bank being cleared out by the government because I ain't paying child support. And I did a lot of time paying it, and she got all the money. And as a matter of fact, she owed me $1,000. Pay me my money.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're ever gonna get that. But anyway, no, I don't have no. It's the laws that are associated with.
No,
child
wait a minute.
support
Wait a minute. Now you just say I don't think you'll ever get it.
No.
Why the hell not? They made sure that she got her money from me.
Well, like
point.
I was told when I got on child support, everything I gave her before they got involved.
No, you misunderstand. It wasn't a gift. I overpaid.
Okay.
She owed me money.
Well,
and they're not. You don't. And there's no enforcement of her giving me my money.
No, you have to pursue that with the government because they're the ones that took the money out of your check. They're the ones that have control of the money. They have it before she gets a penny.
I know.
I spent more than what I was required for child support, and I don't mind. I do it to show my kids that they're important to me. That my kids are more important than my money, and that's how I look at it. Yes, I would like to have my extra $400, $500 a month. That's money I could save or do things for myself with. But when you have children, you're supposed to sacrifice.
Yeah,
and the biggest sacrifice is the financial one. The second one is probably time-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't mind sacrificing those things because they're important enough for me. But like I was saying, so I don't have a problem with child support. It's just some of the laws that are associated with child support. I have family members whose licenses are suspended, who do owe back child support. But it's like, how are we supposed to maintain or get ahead if we can't move about freely, or we can move about freely at the fastest pace possible? I remember days back in the day when I had to take the bus everywhere, and how many hours it took sometimes to get across town to do things I needed to do, and how much time I saved when I got a car. So if the government was truly concerned about families like they try to say they are, they would allow the fathers, give them work privileges. That, okay, fine, you can't drive and have a social life. I'm fine with that. Take that away. But at least let them drive to and from work. Or let them drive to and from the grocery store.
It's about money.
Let them drive to and from the grocery store.
And which brings me to the point that I was trying to make. So you got this whole, like you said, I don't need a man for this, I don't need a man for that, I don't need a man to raise children because I can put him on child support and still take his money.
And you know what? That gives you something to boast about. If I was I was a father that was never there,
and even though it's it's kind of an oxymoron to me because didn't you just say you don't need a man?
Right, of course. Well, everybody's a hypocrite in some way, shape, or form.
So to get back on subject, one of the accusers of Cuba. Her name is Claudia Oshry. Um, she is a 24-year-old comedian.
I thought Cuba would have better taste. She's not that cute to me.
A 24-year-old comedian recently did a Dirty Jeans tour earlier this year, or still doing it. Entertainer personality, has a large following on Instagram. I guess that's where she's got most of her success. 3 million plus. Has a podcast called The Morning Toast, which is funny because it started as The Morning Beast. Then it went to The Morning Breath. Now, and I suppose now it's The Morning Toast. So the only thing that is common is that it's morning something. So I'm like, where's the creativity?
Well,
but
evolving.
She has a mother. Her mother is a widely known Islamophobe called Pamela Geller, and she is a part of the Stop the Islamization of America, an activist with anti-Islam, an anti-Islam hate group, and they've, I guess, had posts that they've posted, which have gotten them in some trouble, where Instagram fired her or took down her account, which she was making money off of. And
can I read one of her quotes?
Go for it.
I'd like to read one of her quotes back from 2014. Just like the courts like to paint a picture of the person they're prosecuting, which would be Cuba, let's kind of paint a picture of this woman, Claudia. And here's I don't know if this is from Twitter or Instagram, but it's from January 30th, 2014, where she writes on her page, "Girl with no job, I can't help but feel like I'm funding terrorism when I take a cab." So I would say that was very offensive, but also kind of funny. I think we're also getting too sensitive in this country. Pre-2000, I know that was a long time ago, but that probably would have been funny.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's online and we read it, we put our spin on how we read it, we're offended. We're before this PC culture came in, that would have been funny. Just some of our older viewers, think of some of the things that you used to see when you were younger. Some of the stand-up comedians like Martin Lawrence or Eddie Murphy, some of their stand-ups. How much of that stuff would be taboo to talk about now?
True.
We've just gotten too sensitive as a society, and we need to get over some of that.
Well, what I took from it, because I think kind of, I think kind of deep. I looked at it as, okay, on that, where she was saying that she can't help but feel like she's funding terrorism when she takes a cab because of, I guess, a lot of people in New York drive cabs that are of Islam. And she was speaking with, I guess, between her sister and her mother, and sent by Pamela Geller. There's viral Instagram star daughters, thedailybeast.com, Instagram says, I guess she said it was a controversial tweet, and she says, yeah, I said it, so she's owning up to it. And then it says, the reason you're still standing on the corner, I guess that's her sister, that's her, Claudia. The reason you're still standing on the street corner looking for a cab is because it's a Muslim holiday. And then another tweet saying, today my co-counselor told me she think Obama is Muslim. The way I look at it is this. If she those are considered, racist comments. But
Yeah.
it could, because if it was a black person, and I didn't want to go there.
All right.
But if it was a black person, everybody in their mom would be like, "Oh, she's a racist," right?
No, we probably get a pass. When white people are involved with us.
I'm talking about if she said that. If she said that
about
against
a
somebody,
black person.
yes.
Oh yeah, she'd be considered racist.
So in turn, in likeness, these people are Islam. Not only is part of their is a religion, but for the most part, you have black Muslims, you have people that are from the East India, not India, Pakistan.
Pakistan. Well,
Yeah.
Muslims come in every shade, just
So-
like Christians and black people who come in
So
every shade.
they could say that it could be against the religion. They could say it could be because of my race. And my thing is this: if she's bold, if she feels emboldened enough as a white Jewish woman to be able to say that, what else would she speak of?
Well, that's just it. In America, we have the freedom of speech, and yes.
What else is she saying behind closed doors?
What?
Who else she talking about?
That's not my concern. I'm only concerned about what she does in front of me, because me assuming what she's saying, I could be completely wrong. She could have just said that to get those 15,000 likes that comment got, and get that check from Instagram.
True.
So she, a lot of these people are totally different in person and in private than they are online or in public. Because in public, they gotta project that personality and kind of be controversial and make that money. That does not mean she should be falsely accusing someone of rape or gross sexual imposition. But I'm for free speech. I don't believe the term hate speech like the government puts out there, because they want anything negative to be hate speech. And just as much as I believe we have the right to say positive things, I believe we also have the right to say negative things, and it doesn't necessarily have to come from a hateful heart. You just don't have to like everything. Simple as that. There's some things I don't like. Doesn't mean I hate them, but under some of these silly laws, they're considered hate speech. So,
well,
I'm not Muslim. I have a sister that's Muslim, so I'm not offended. If I was black, I don't know. I don't think I would be offended. I would automatically judge her as a racist if it was but I try not to be one of those people that's easily offended, because people that always going around screaming "I'm offended" annoy me.
Well, if I'm offended, I will point out that, hey, I would want clarification before I take an offended stance.
That's possible. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Exactly.
So.
Because my thing is this: I'm not gonna be okay with anybody just saying anything they think they can say around me or to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Now this girl Claudia, she accused Cuba Gooding Jr. of sticking his finger in her rectal area when she was 16 years old. My thoughts on is, why did she wait until now to come forward with it? And because my thing is this: I would think that Cuba Gooding is a movie star. Do you think it would be hard for a teenager, let alone a teenage girl, to be able to keep something like that a secret?
It all depends on the context. Were they alone?
How did he even get into
How
contact
did
with her? Even
How did his finger get through her clothes? That's the first thing that came to my mind when I read that. It was like, so did he make you take your clothes off to do that? Did you have on a dress or something? How did that happen? I don't know if that was a joke, if she was serious, because she said it on her Morning Toast podcast. So it's just like, yeah, I'll need a little bit more detail on that before I form an opinion, because since you said she's supposedly a comedian, could that have been her making a joke about her situation? Did she actually know him back in high school? How did that happen in high school? I mean, where if
yeah, because he's older.
If it actually happened in school,
and she's 24 years old.
Where were they? So I don't know. I think she might have just been making a joke. It wasn't funny. It was a bad joke, but
And what would she gain from this? To me, she gained what? Publicity, money if it goes to trial. If it, she jumps on a class action bandwagon.
mm-hmm.
She's getting in on the ground floor while they're
well,
building this thing.
Well, she may not. She might have picked the wrong one. I haven't seen Cuba in any movies since Radio. So Cuba's bank account might be a little low. She might want to pick somebody a little bit higher up the chain. Somebody with a little bit more recent movie. Somebody that's got a few dollars. So I don't know Cuba's wealth right now or what he's worth, but he might not have anything to pay out with if she did sue him and she won. So she might want to think about that.
Well, another thing is people that are in association with her that are men may want to watch out for her.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a picture here with her with a guy called the Lady Sitter, and he's a host of the Daily Pop. I forget exactly what his real name is, but he's a writer producer of that show, which they talk about celebrity and gossip and they debate on it.
Okay.
Like this show.
Okay.
and he went from being a personal assistant to that position. And I got a picture here of him with her, and she was saying that she sat down. Well, a few weeks ago, I sat down with the Lady Sitter for E! News. We spoke a lot about cancel culture and what it is like for me to be momentarily canceled. Also nude photos link in bio. That I don't get. But that's what it says.
I think she was trying to be funny.
And then on the next, I got on that same string of communique, I have this guy, DJ Rybeats, at the Lady Killer. Be careful. She might say you sexually assaulted her. And another one from Corey again, Brew at the Lady Sitter. Be careful where you put your hand. This and lady, not using that word, with no job, might say you touched her despite being underage in a club and blaming Cuba for touching her. Just saying, girls with no jobs are dangerous. At Claudia with no job. Claudia has no job and is expecting a payday or empathy. Don't fall in. And I was like, whoa. Heat.
Well, I think that alone might help Cuba's case. If he's got a good enough lawyer, if Mr. Heller is a good enough lawyer, I'm sure he's paying him quite a bit of money to keep him out of jail. So,
well, I'm hoping that this is a lesson, a lesson learned for Cuba. If he is doing this type of stuff, quit that crap. Otherwise, you're gonna end up getting locked up, bro.
Drink at home.
And a cautionary tale for all of those others, that are in the entertainment business in the public light, that are men, not only just African American men, that are just men. Be careful what you do and who you associate with. Just because she's a woman, don't mean she's not a predator.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to be careful. They say smiling faces not all of them. They sometimes lie. Mm-hmm. So you have to be careful and watch yourself. I'm tired of seeing our brothers getting caught up in these situations with women that are in the limelight and getting taken down over that. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't sit well with me. And it's not that per se I have a axe to grind with women. It's just that there are women out there that are predators. It's just the way it is. And they've been out there before this whole Me Too, before this whole feminist. Women are capable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, virtually anything that a man is capable of.
Exactly.
A woman is capable of as far as behavior is concerned. I'm a firm believer in that. We're all human.
Yeah. So that's what I got, man.
All right. So let us know what you think. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe this video.
And hit the notification. Before we close out, I want to let you know that for our 100th subscriber, I'm giving away this watch. The Common Ground is giving away this watch to our 100th subscriber, whoever that might be. Good luck on whoever gets it. And be sitting here until we get that 100th subscriber. Yep. And thank you for watching the show. This has been The Common Ground.
All right. Have a good week. Peace.